Seth and Gunnar, could you guys go back around front for just 5 more minutes? I think we have cars that are pulling in now. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. You're getting community service hours, Gunnar. It's a good thing. Yeah.
Ready? All right, let's get started. Good evening. Welcome to the 2015 Huntingdon County Commissioner Candidate Debate. My name is Chris Winker, and I will be your MC for this evening's event. This event is being hosted this evening by the Huntingdon County Chamber of Commerce, and more specifically, its Government Affairs Committee. The Huntingdon County Chamber of Commerce and the Government Affairs Committee are nonpartisan in nature. The purpose of this event is to educate the voters of Huntingdon County on the candidates running for County Commissioner. But before we get started, there are a few housekeeping notes that I have. First, There are several people that we need to thank for making tonight's event possible. First, the partner agencies. The members of the Government Affairs Committee are as follows. There's Amy Wise. She is Huntingdon County Business and Industry, and she's the committee chair. Diana McClure, she's with Keller Engineers, and she's the vice chair of the committee. David Christopher, he is the superintendent of the Juniata Valley School District. Lynn Conway is with John R. Wald Company. Chris Gilday is with J.C. Blair Memorial Health System. Erica Schoaf is my wife and partner, and she is the managing partner of Schoaf & Winker LLC. And then there's me, Chris Winker. I'm the senior partner of Schoaf & Winker LLC. We also need to thank the Juniata Valley School District for the use of their facility tonight and for making the online portion of this evening's event possible. Specifically, we would like to thank Mr. Christopher, the superintendent, the school board of directors, Josh Wakefield, who's the IT director, the Tuscarora Intermediate Unit 11 for hosting the online portion of tonight's debate on their website, the Huntingdon County Chamber of Commerce staff, specifically Mackenzie Locke, the office manager. She does a lot of work for us, and she's a lot of help. We'd like to thank the Huntingdon County Business and Industry for their continued support of the Chamber through promotion and preparation for tonight's debate. Specifically, Amy Wise, who's the executive director at HCB&I, and Chelsea Kyle, who's the operations manager. We'd like to thank our media partners, the Daily News, specifically the editor, Rebecca Weichert-Bard, and the political and business reporter, Candy Price. I think they're both here tonight. Thank you for coming. Seven Mountains Media and Honey 103.5. Finally, we'd like to thank the Pennsylvania Association of Nonprofits, and specifically Patricia Tish Mogan, who's the Standards for Excellence Director. The next note that I have is that we have some social interactions, and we invite you to participate. We'd like to encourage everybody to participate in the social interaction during tonight's debate. You can use the hashtag, it's hashtag HCCommish, that's spelled HCCOMMISH 2015, HCCommish 2015. Please use that liberally tonight. You're free to tweet during the entirety of tonight's debate and join in the participation and the conversation. There are several rules that we ask the members of the audience who are here tonight to obey and comply with, and they're printed on the inside of the cover of the program that you received when you came in. I'll briefly summarize those. First, please silence all of your electronic devices for the duration of debate. Please check all of your partisan materials at the door. Please be respectful during the entire debate and refrain from gestures, expressions, or anything of that nature that would be construed as excessive exuberance or support for or against any particular topic or candidate. Please keep in mind that this is sponsored by the Huntingdon County Chamber of Commerce, and so we ask that all of your questions relate to business in some fashion. You can submit questions on index cards. They'll be collected by volunteers and submitted to the candidates. Finally, please refrain from applauding or in other ways demonstrating support or non-support for a candidate. Now, I'd like to introduce tonight's moderator. I've mentioned him a couple of times already, and I think that shows how important he's been in getting this together and also working with the Government Affairs Committee. That's David Christopher. He's the superintendent of the Juniata Valley School District. He currently serves on the Government Affairs Committee of the Huntingdon County Chamber of Commerce and is on the Huntingdon County Business and Industry Executive Board. Mr. Christopher holds a bachelor's degree in elementary education from Juniata College and a master's degree in educational leadership and policy from Shippensburg University. In addition to that, he's just a really smart guy. As moderator, it will be Mr. Christopher's role to ask questions and to ensure that candidates follow the rules established for the debate. Additionally, he may ask some follow-up questions, especially in the case that a candidate is not fully answering the question that's being asked. The questions for the first portion of the debate have already been prepared by the Government Affairs Committee. Additional questions, though, will be solicited from the audience and online via the moderated chat. Members of the Government Affairs Committee will select which questions from the public will be asked of the candidates. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to respond to each question. After all 3 candidates have answered the question, each candidate will be given a 60-second opportunity to clarify their own answer to the question or to rebut statements made by the other candidates. The order in which each candidate is asked to respond to each question will be based on a randomly assigned number drawn by members of the Government Affairs Committee. And with that, let's get the debate started. Please welcome to the stage tonight's contestants.
Good evening, candidates. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2015 Huntingdon County Commissioners Debate, sponsored by the Huntingdon County Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of the Chamber, I want to thank you for your willingness to participate in this event, so thank you very much. As moderator, it's my goal to ensure that each of you has an opportunity to explain to the public why you feel you are the best candidate for commissioner and to explain your position on various issues that affect the residents of Huntingdon County. It's also my expectation and the expectation of the Chamber that you conduct yourself in a professional manner as part of this debate. Before we get to the questions, just a few housekeeping items. First, all candidates, those on the ballot and those who have publicly announced write-in campaigns, were invited to participate in this evening's event. As noted about the program, each of the candidates participating in tonight's event have been asked to prepare a 300-word response to the question, why I should be elected. Responses have been printed and submitted, and so they've been printed as they were submitted. There have been no grammatical, spelling, proofreading errors, changes, anything has been done by the committee. So however it was sent to us is how it's in the bulletin. Candidates opting not to participate in this evening's event were given an opportunity to provide a statement about their absence in the program. Questions. The Government Affairs Committee has prepared some questions for this evening's event. The audience, both those in person and electronically, I know we've already started receiving tweets before the event even happened with some questions that we'll be getting to, will be permitted to submit questions to the candidates. Please note the questions should relate to topics that impact business, economic development, property, tourism, room taxes, and personal taxes, the judicial system, land development. Members of the Government Affairs Committee will screen the questions prior to providing them to me. So as been stated already, each of you will have 2 minutes to respond to each question asked, and then 60 seconds to clarify your own statements or rebut the statements of other candidates. A time clock for each question and rebuttal will be shown on the back wall of the auditorium, so you're aware of the time restrictions for each period. Can everyone see the clock? Okay. Please adhere to the time restrictions. Should you attempt to go over time, I will instruct you that response time has ended, and we will proceed to the next question or candidate answer. To get us started this evening, each candidate will be given the opportunity to share an opening statement and introduce themselves. There will be no rebuttal for your introductions. We'll go ahead and let that be. So the order in which we're going to go, we're just going to go right across here for those statements. So we'll start with Commissioner Thomas, and we'll move to the left.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and Juniata Valley School District and all the other partners for hosting this event. It's refreshing to see all the young students here taking interest in county government. A little about myself. I reside in South Hello, southern Huntingdon end of the county. I graduated from Southern Huntingdon County High School. I also attended Ryco Technologies. I've been married for 34 years. I have one son, Matt, 2 grandchildren. And when I won the election back in 2011, I worked in the telecommunication field. Most of my work was done with government entities, universities, and county government. At that time, I decided that the job was a very important job, and I wanted to put my full-time attention into it, so I resigned my position to put my full-time attention into the job. And it's been an honor to serve as your county commissioner the past 4 years. I've worked diligently full-time in this position. This is not a 9-to-5 job. I've gone whenever and wherever I have been invited. That shows here tonight. I have been available to all residents of the county, by office, by phone, or on the street. I serve on multiple boards in the county and in the region. I have been elected by my peers to serve in leadership capacities. This benefits the residents of Huntingdon County. I've made many contacts and relationships in Harrisburg and Washington, D.C. that have enabled the county to secure grants and funding. There are many other projects that we have begun that I would like to see come to fruition. I have prior government experience of serving on Borough Council for 16 years. This gave me working knowledge of grants, budgets, and funding requirements. My first priority is to make Huntingdon County a better place to live, work, and visit. If reelected, I will continue to work with the other commissioners to move the county forward. Thank you.
Mr. Seaver.
Oh, first of all, I'd like to thank the Juniata Valley School District and the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. My name is Robert Sieber. I'm a candidate for County Commissioner here in Huntingdon County. I am currently a resident of Shirley Township. I formerly taught at the Mount Union Area School District for 35 years, and after my retirement, I decided to stay in the area. I love the area. My children, 2 of my 3 children are here, as are 7 of my 10 grandchildren. One of the reasons I decided to run for county commission was that I did not see a great deal of progress for Huntingdon County. I know that the current commissioners are trying, and I think they are often on the right track, but I also feel the job can be done better. I have experience not just in the teaching field, which required, as you might have seen from the introduction I wrote, constant planning, meticulous planning each and every day, each week, year to year. Part of the job also involves the writing of grants, which at that time we did not have grant writers for. We wrote them ourselves. I also served not only as a union member, but as a union leader and a union president for several years, negotiating contracts, handling personnel problems, and basically trying to keep the peace between staff, administration, students, and parents. I've spent all of my life working with people, and I'd like to continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn.
Good evening, everybody, and as others have said, thank you to all involved in planning this debate. My wife Paula and I have moved here 21 years ago, and we've raised our family, and we have grown to love this county. My hope for tonight is to allow you to get to know me a little bit better, understand the issues that we face, understand where I stand on those issues, and to hopefully garner your vote as a write-in for Huntingdon County Commissioner. During our first term, we have addressed many different issues, and we've had success addressing some of those. And we have others that we're continuing to face every day, and there are, of course, others on the horizon. With the leadership that I bring, my education and experience, I went to Marietta College in Ohio. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and my experience in finance and business, I hope to continue to provide leadership to the Huntingdon County Board of Commissioners. One of the big successes that we've had early on was really changing the morale that existed within the county government in the offices. When we took office, morale was low. Things weren't getting done. And we worked together to do some renovation projects within the buildings, and we have successfully added to efficiency. This position is very important, and just to let you know, when I take my political hat off when it comes time to dealing with the issues that we face. Thank you, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening.
Thank you. Our next question is somewhat of a softball we're going to throw you, and we are not going to have you rebut. But we want you to think for just half a second, and we will go in the same order we just did. So Commissioner Thomas, you will be asked the question first, followed by Mr. Sieber, and then Commissioner O'Corn. But the question we'd like to ask you is, what do you really feel is your most proud accomplishment in your life? And we'd like you to go ahead and answer that question.
I believe the most proud accomplishment of my life is my family. I always go back to family first. My wonderful wife of 34 years, my son, my grandchildren, family always comes first. Moving on, some of the things in my life that I'm very proud of. I've been a Lions Club member for over 30 years. Was very honored to receive the Melvin Jones Award, which is the highest award in Lionism for community and humanitarian service. I served on county government for 16 years. I get a lot of satisfaction from serving the public, and it was instilled upon me by my parents at a very young age to do this. I just didn't wake up and decided I wanted to serve. I've done it all my life, and I enjoy it, and I think serving the public would be probably family first and then serving the public second.
All right, thank you. Mr. Sieber.
Well, that's very difficult to argue with there. I was thinking when you first mentioned that question, I thought, well, my family, of course. My 3 children are all, 2 of them live in the area, my daughter and son. I have a daughter also who lives in New Jersey. They've all advanced their own careers, their own education. My son's probably the one who has had the hardest trip. He worked at a factory in the area here, FCI, for 17 years from the day they opened. When FCI closed, he was one of the last employees out the door. And what he decided to do was reinvent himself, just like this county needs to. He went back to school and became a licensed practical nurse, and he's currently working as a school nurse in the Mount Union Area School District. I bring this up because my children and my 10 grandchildren are the primary reason that I feel proud each and every day. They take on all the responsibility that I had tried to as a parent. It was sometimes very difficult. These things are the things that I'd like to bring to county government. A reinvention of this county. I look at the history of the county and I see that we once had a strong industrial base, that we were once noted throughout the state as a kind of beacon 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and I think maybe we need to work back in that direction. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn.
Well, of course, I think you'll notice a common theme here. My family certainly is my proudest accomplishment. Not only with what they've done, but with how they've supported me and all of us, one another, certainly throughout the last 20 years that we've been here in Huntingdon County. But more than that, it's, I think as parents, and we talked about this the other day, it's what we have learned from our own children that has allowed us to grow even further. And when I look at county government, I try to approach it the same way, in that we as commissioners, we come in and we're there for 4 years. Hopefully we can be there longer so we can have a greater impact. But the people that work in the offices have been there sometimes for more than 30 years. And it's not our job to just dictate how things are going to happen, but rather to listen to what they say, involve them in the process, and allow them to contribute to the efficiency, and that's what we've done through my first term as commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. For our next question, we will be going, Commissioner Thomas will be first, Commissioner O'Corn will be second, and Mr. Sieber will be third. For this question, you will have 2 minutes, and then after each candidate has answered the question for 2 minutes, you will have a 1-minute response each. The question we're going to ask you is, what is the single most impactful thing you believe you could do as a commissioner, whether in your first term or in another term, to encourage economic development in Huntingdon County?
The commissioners should lead county government by strong leadership and financial support. By strong leadership, I mean serving on the boards and organizations such as HCB&I, Southern Alleghenies, Chamber, and by financial, I mean bringing in grants to the county, appropriations to these committees to help with business development. Thank you.
Commissioner O'Corn.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, I mean, our job, really, the way I look at it is to provide leadership. Again, as I noted before, I don't look at the position of county commissioner to be a boss, but a leader. And so with that said, what we do in sitting on different committees and on different boards is to provide support and also leadership. Be involved in the process. In my own case, sometimes I hesitate to get too involved because, as we'll probably talk about later, the speed of government can sometimes slow things down. So I'm very careful to provide the leadership, but not get involved to the point where we're going to bog things down. We need to continue to strive for economic success, and we will. We are presently working on some different projects, and I hope to continue the leadership as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sieber.
Well, obviously, leadership is certainly the most important single factor that a county commissioner can bring to county government. If you'll pardon me the musing of an old history teacher, you may have heard that Teddy Roosevelt often referred to the presidency as a bully pulpit. And he used the term bully to mean very good. A wonderful pulpit, a wonderful place to preach ideas from. Well, I believe the county commissioner's office can and should do the same thing. We should use our position to bring new ideas and innovation into the county, to give out these ideas, to promote the ideas that other people might not be aware are important to the economic growth of this area. So leadership and innovation and getting our ideas out there, I think, are in very, very important traits. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas, you'll have 1 minute to rebut.
Just as the other stated, strong leadership in positions. You want to communicate, that's very important. Have all the organizations in the county, in the region, work together. And one of the things which Bob touched on, innovation, thinking outside the box. I can refer to, I guess I have 1 minute out of the Partners for Economic and Progress meeting. CDL license came up. What can we do at the Career and Technology Center to a program that we could put in that would benefit the public? Just look in the paper, CDL. My hat's off to Huntingdon County Career and Technology Center, just from a brief conversation of exchanging ideas through leadership and communication. They picked up the ball, put in the CDL program, and last time I heard, I think it still has 100% placement for the graduates, so it's a huge success story. Things like those, communication, leadership, must be part of being a commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn.
As Commissioner Thomas had said, sorry if my mic's not working, I'll talk a little bit louder. The Partnership for Economic Progress was something when we took office was not in a good place. And the whole idea of that partnership is to communicate between agencies. And we decided to revitalize that agency, and today it is doing that. It is providing the communication that's necessary so that our partner agencies can be successful. And that, as a commissioner, is certainly one of the things that we've been most successful at. Thank you.
Mr. Sieber.
The only thing I'd like to say is that I was at the meeting that the information regarding career and technology was given out, and that to me is an incredibly bright point, is that we have good educational institutions and we have organizations that are willing to help develop the type of workforce we're going to need for the rest of this century. So I think these are absolutely wonderful ideas, and I think that we need to continue on the right path. Thank you.
Thank you. For our next question, The order of response will be Commissioner O'Corn, Mr. Sieber, and Commissioner Thomas. This is a question that I believe came in off our Twitter feed, and we'll go ahead and ask that to you. So what was your community involvement prior to seeking election? So prior to serving in the public role, what was your community involvement? Commissioner O'Corn.
Thank you, David. My community involvement has been very extensive. Prior to even moving to Huntingdon County, I was very involved with Make-A-Wish program through my involvement with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And on moving to Huntingdon, we decided to be involved in our community, and we decided to live in our community. I became involved with Habitat for Humanity, served as vice president of that organization, and we built homes not just in Huntingdon, but also Mount Union. Another item that I'm proud of is the Punt, Pass, and Kick program. Was a program that was really offered on a limited basis. We decided to do it as a county, and we worked very hard to get invitations out to all the school districts within the county, and we had very good success. We had participation that was in the hundreds. And what it allowed us to do, what it allowed our students to do, was to have success, not just here locally, but to, because we had a big local area, the people that were winners were very good. So that as we moved on to the district and to the Steeler team competition, we were very well represented. And that's certainly something that I am very proud of, to see the success of our young people and how they continue that through the years. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sieber.
Well, prior to considering running for county commissioner, which was April of this year, where I started as a write-in candidate, I was a strong supporter of the Mount Union Community Library. Prior to that, I had been a Scoutmaster, Troop 78 in Newton Hamilton for many years, and I'd also continued to work with the Scout program today as a counselor. My other passion that I work in the community is working with young people in the Mount Union Area Wrestling Program, where I was a coach for many of the years that I taught, and I continued to be a volunteer coach even up to this day. And any of you from the area here are familiar with the work that the Mount Union Area Wrestling Program has done. When we first began that program, we took young people who were totally untried and coached them and helped them and worked with them. We transported them all over the state of Pennsylvania, indeed out of the state. I can particularly remember a trip up to upstate New York. We raised funds through the Mount Union Wrestling Club to pay for camps, because each of these young people, whether they eventually blossomed into a varsity wrestler or not, learned something from that experience. Today, I spend a great deal of time trying to do whatever I can to aid the Mount Union Library and the Boy Scouts of America. I also belong to two other organizations I'm very proud of, Trout Unlimited and the Sierra Club. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sieber. Commissioner Thomas.
Before becoming commissioner, some of my fondest memories are 16 years on Borough Council. That's where you didn't know who the D's and R's were. You just rolled up your sleeves and worked together for the betterment of the community. I really enjoyed those years working with those individuals. Another thing that I've mentioned previously in my introduction, Lions Club. I've been a Lions Club member for over 30 years. Received the Melvin Jones Award. We do many fundraisers throughout the year for different individuals or organizations. I thoroughly enjoy that. Coaching, it's been some time, but I used to coach Little League quite a bit. One of the things I've become very fond of, and I've only been involved in this for about 12 years, is Hunt of a Lifetime. A group of hunters get together down around York from all over the state, and we raise money for any person or child diagnosed with a terminal illness under the age of 19. And I really enjoy working with that organization because just to see someone smile for a brief moment and give them a chance to enjoy life is worth it all. And I belong to numerous outdoor activities, numerous outdoor organizations that I give time at, Ducks Unlimited, Grouse Society, and others. Thank you.
Thank you. If any of the candidates would like an opportunity to clarify or rebut their remarks on that question, I'm not sure it really holds well for that, but if you would like an opportunity, we'll give you one.
Thanks, David. I'll just say that, as I have time to think, I really do start to think about all the community involvement that we have been involved in, not just me personally, but also my family. I also coached certainly all those different sports, baseball, football, and wrestling. Was the director of youth wrestling in Huntingdon, and the wrestlers that are coming up through right now were the ones that we had an impact on. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Seaver, you'd like an opportunity?
Other than the fact that it's very obvious that all of the gentlemen here on the stage are people who are greatly concerned about their communities. They are greatly involved with other people and helping other people. I think that's one of the key components in anyone that really, really wants to be a county commissioner or any kind of county official. And that, I think, is why we are here tonight. That's why we showed up here. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas?
I'd just like to make a plea to see more people become involved in community involvement. Pick something out that you are passionate about and dive into it. It's a good feeling. Thank you.
Thank you. For our next question, the order of answer will be Mr. Seaver, Commissioner Thomas, and then Commissioner O'Corn. This question is probably the meat of the order for Huntingdon County Business and Industry and for the Chamber. It was asked online today. So what are you doing, or what do you hope to do to attract businesses to Huntingdon County?
Okay, thank you. I read a letter in the paper today that talked about all the different possibilities, all the things that a particular person might do to help the county improve its business climate. Keystone Opportunity Zones, PEP programs, a whole list. Better infrastructure. The problem with this is that everybody does this. Everybody uses Keystone Opportunity Zones. Everybody uses PEP programs. Everybody uses public-private concerns, public and private organizations to work together. It's easy to say, I am for more business, I am for more jobs, I am for more opportunity. But if every community and every county in the state of Pennsylvania has this in mind, and every county and municipality in the state of Pennsylvania has these same opportunities, then it's just a matter of making it work. And thus far, we have had some success in Huntingdon County, but I feel we could have more, and I feel that part of our problem is the fact that we have a negative image. Many people from the outside look at Huntingdon County and they're unsure of what kind of a climate we have here. Do we really want to improve our business and economic outlook? So we can say lots of different things, but you still have to do them.
Thank you, Mr. Seaver. Commissioner Thomas.
To follow up on what Bob said, what are you doing or what have you done or what are you doing? Just to touch on the KOZs, not only did we expand the KOZ here within the last year and a half, we also extended the term limit another 10 years on the KOZ in Mount Union. Excuse me. We just received within the region through Southern Alleghenies a $500,000 grant to help employers identify their needs and help with employee training. That was a huge success for Southern Alleghenies and the 6-county region. We must continue to promote workforce development. And again, I point to the Huntingdon Career and Technology and CareerLink on doing an outstanding job with new programs coming into the area. You must have a skilled workforce to retain business and attract new business. The infrastructure, where the roads go, the jobs will come. That's been said many times. And if you talk to the Appalachian Development Highway System, they say the same thing. I testified in front of the Senate Transportation Committee a couple of years ago when Act 89 was passed, testifying on the needs of our region. I serve as vice chair on a rural planning organization that encompasses the 4-county region. Act 89 really did a lot of good things for the county. You'll see that we were bundling bridges now, saving the county money, which will all help bring in jobs. Small business loans, we need to promote those. Southern Alleghenies, coming through them and HCB&I, there's literally millions of dollars on the books in loans out there right now. What we have to do is promote all these organizations, the KOZs, the KIZs, the enterprise zones, and let people know that they are there. To Bob's point, everybody knows about the KOZs and stuff, but we must maintain them. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn.
It's hard to argue with anything that Commissioner Thomas has said because I've participated with many of the things that he explained. We do work well with CareerLink and with our partner agencies, Huntingdon County Career and Technology Center with HCB&I, the Chamber of Commerce. Again, it's our job really to provide the leadership and also offer our resources and our support and also our time and energy to be involved in projects if there is a potential for a business to come here. We have offered that time and time again, and we'll do so in the future. The only thing I disagree with Bob is the negative connotation with Huntingdon County. We have many favorable things going for Huntingdon County, and we'll probably touch on them a little bit later. Sure, we have challenges, but we have to look at the positives, and we have to talk to the companies that would work well in our communities. I do believe that small and medium sized businesses can be successful here. Those are the ones that we're going after. If we have a large company or industry that wants to come to Huntingdon, sure, we will talk to them. But we are working, in my opinion, every angle that we can to get businesses here. Yes, we have challenges, but we have so many favorable things going on here in Huntingdon County. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Siebert, your 1-minute rebuttal.
I think part of what our negative image arises from is the fact that some of our industries have come in, taken advantage of the Keystone Opportunity Zone tax breaks, and then left. My son worked at FCI. FCI left owing the Mount Union School District a sizable sum of money. The law does not really make it easy for local entities to get that money back. This is money that we lost during that course of time. In addition, many of the companies that come in under Keystone Opportunity Zone come in and bring a few key people, they hire some key people, and then they rely on organizations like Manpower, which are almost minimum wage jobs, where you have 100 Manpower people hired, they work for 6 months, and then they're out of work, except maybe occasionally one would get hired.
Thank you, Mr. Siebert. Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn. I'm sorry, that should be Commissioner Thomas. Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. The one thing that I want to emphasize is being a commissioner, I as a commissioner, one commissioner cannot do anything. I want to emphasize teamwork. Same way with the partner organizations. You may come up with an idea, but it takes the team to get the job done. So I just want to stress, no matter what you're doing, whether it's trying to attract jobs, make the county better in any way, shape, or form, it takes a team to do it.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn.
One of the big successes that we've had recently was with Huntingdon Fiberglass, keeping them in town and also having them start to grow and have that success. That's something that we're very proud of, and we wish them nothing but more success as we move forward. But also, other things that we're doing as we travel throughout the state or even throughout the country, anytime I have the opportunity to speak to a business owner, I do ask, what are your thoughts about expansion? Have you ever thought about something in the Northeast or in Huntingdon County? So we're trying to plant the seeds. We're working with our agencies so that we can move Huntingdon County forward. Thank you.
Thank you. For our next question, the order of answering will be Mr. Sieber, Mr. Thomas, and Mr. O'Corn. These were drawn ahead of time, so there seems like there's a couple of them that have been the same, and they have been, but they were randomly drawn. This question, I believe, comes from one of my students who is in the audience. The question is relating to the 911 system, and he asks, the recent decision to switch from the county 911 system from low band to digital microwaves will greatly affect the smaller fire companies economically. How do you plan to assist these companies financially so that this doesn't completely destroy them? So, Mr. Sieber, you would be up.
Well, I'll do my very best to answer this because it is the type of question that, of course, the commissioners have already begun to address, which is through expanded grants. Now, both of the gentlemen on each side of me have me at a disadvantage because they've been working with this for 4 years. And I've been reading about it off and on, in fact, mostly on, for a month or two. I do not know the best answer here. I will plead the fact that on a technical question like this, I really am probably not the best person to ask. I would think, though, from going to the commissioners' meetings, that getting grant money, as the commission has managed to compile, that this may be of some benefit to these companies. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas.
The 911 system that is dire need of repair in Huntingdon County, we started going to the, get off the narrow banding in 2013, but now I think the question is where we're going now. We just organized with the 4 counties. We signed an intergovernmental agreement. The first step will be to replace our CAD, or computer-aided dispatch, and our telephone switch. There will be 2 switches, one in Blair County and one in Huntingdon. Then the microwave towers will go up and connect all the counties together for the interconnectivity. The 911 bill that was passed this year was a huge success for every county and CCAP. Everyone lobbied hard. I, along with other commissioners, were on Capitol Hill beating on doors, lobbying for this. And this is the first step of getting 911 where it needs to be. The question that the young person is referring to is the radio and digital.
Correct.
It looks like what they're looking at right now, that is in 2020, all fire companies or all 911 systems must be digital. We are working with the fire companies and with the 911 system to make sure that we can accomplish this. I can assure you, sitting as commissioner, that the county would not, I repeat, would not just go digital without making sure the fire companies had the capability. Because if we did so, they wouldn't be able to respond to anybody. So we're working together. We've come a long way with our 911 system. We just approved spending $1 million to upgrade the CAD, the phone system, and the microwave towers in between. What the question is, that is the next phase, which will be coming along shortly. And like I said, we've had open communications with all the fire companies, letting them know where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn.
I'll answer the question as directly as I can first. We have worked tirelessly on our 911 system, but specifically, whatever changes we make, we have a great understanding of what it would do to the first responders. I personally have met with the Fire Chiefs Association several times, have had great conversations with this very topic. We understand the funding issues. We are asking them to apply for grants, and hopefully they will have success doing so. As I started to go through this process, I really did not have an understanding of what fire radios cost, and it really opened my eyes. And so when it comes to the first responders, that is a very big concern. We are working with them. We had to take care of some infrastructure issues on our side of things, but we've always had the first responders right next to us. We've invited them to all the public meetings that we have with our 911 board, because I believe that the communication is the biggest thing that we can do. As far as what I can do or what I would propose personally, I would like to consider that we look at the financing of the radios with any debt that we look at. Because as Commissioner Thomas has said, you know, we can have the best system in the world, but unless our first responders can be as efficient and as timely as they can be, then it's really worthless. So that is one of our top priorities. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sieber, your 1 minute rebuttal.
I'll tell you, that's very informative. And this is, like I said, this is the advantage that you have being in office, that you are on the inside of this information. A lot of this is the type of thing that experience and experience alone involves. Of course, that being said, 4 years ago, each of these gentlemen was in roughly the same position I'm in that they are would be new to the office of commissioner. These are all things that an intelligent person can learn. So that's all I have to say, and I think they're doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas.
It does matter who's in office, but whomever's in office, the next 4 years will be addressing these issues. This is an issue that has started, and it's not going away. What I outlined was the first step in building out the 911 system, which needs built out. I mean, your folks up in the Broad Top, South Tella, Three Springs, that don't have cell service, also don't have radio service. So these things all need to be done within the very near future. And like I said, I think the timeline has already been set by the government at 2020 is what we're being told right now is when everything has to become digital. So I look forward. This is one of the projects from my opening statement. I said things that we have started I would like to see through, and I think we've shown some fine fiscal management on the projects by going after grants and different avenues of funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Corn.
I'd like to agree with Bob on this, in that experience is very important. When we came into the 911 system, we were basically running on a mobile radio from a 1982 patrol car. And you would be astonished to believe that was the truth, but it is. We have, over the course of the last 4 years, taken the time and energy to put into upgrading our system. Unfortunately, we have to do it as grants are available. We talked about the speed of government sometimes is slower than we like, but we have really been successful in moving our 911 system forward. The experience is very important because we're looking at spending millions of dollars on this system. And when I say that, keep in mind too that also with action that we just took by operating with other counties, we just saved over $1 million just to Huntingdon County. Thank you.
Thank you. For our next question, the order that candidates will answer in would be Commissioner O'Corn, followed by Commissioner Thomas, followed by Mr. Sieber. And this question is a large one, I think, on the minds of Huntingdon County residents. Based on what you know now, do you expect a tax increase in 2016? So, Commissioner O'Corn.
We just started the process of looking at the budget for 2016. What we do up until this point, a few weeks ago, we sent out questionnaires to our department heads to get their input on what their needs are going to be for 2016. We have received those all back. They've been put into a binder, and I've started to look at it. With what I know, with the cost measures that we've taken throughout the last 4 years, but specifically in 2015, I am hoping that we will not have a tax increase. I do understand how that affects the citizens of Huntingdon County, but we are saving money. We are not, yes, we're spending money, but we're trying to do it in the most efficient way that we can. Our tax increase was 3 years ago. We have not had one since, and I do not anticipate one for 2016. We're doing that by applying for grants. And again, the speed of government sometimes can slow us down a little bit because we need to apply for a grant, get approved, and then carry forward. For example, one of the examples would be our clock tower. Our clock tower is in bad need of renovation and a paint job. We could have done it a couple years ago at the cost of about $300,000. But we are working with a state agency. We have the first of hopefully annual grants that are $50,000 each. So we are doing things as efficiently as we possibly can so that we don't have a need for a tax increase in 2016. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas.
As Gary said, we just received our budget workbooks here in the last week. We normally try to work on the budget, get it out to the public before Thanksgiving, and then vote on it in December. I can assure you that we can give you an estimated budget of what it's going to cost for next year. It's going to be really tough right at this moment to tell you what our revenue stream is without a state budget, simply because over 30% of our money comes from state and federal funding. So one of the issues with that is children and youth. As a budget is proposed right now, if it would pass today, $172 million will be cut out of children and youth. That will hugely impact our budget with children and youth, being that is the most expensive part of our budget to begin with. We've took many steps to try to keep costs down in tax increases. As Commissioner Corn said, we've gone after numerous grants and funding sources. One of the things that we have done in the county, which should generate significant revenue here for next year, is aerial photography called pictometry. That's a huge asset where we'll be able to pick up a lot of the new buildings, additions, which I'm sure the school districts will be happy to hear. Another big thing that we've done, we've worked with the judge and the jail population. This could be absolutely huge. It's too early to tell. In March, we're running 130 inmates a year. Now, we're running around 70 to 75. That's a big savings. So we have to evaluate, when you look at the budget, you're just not looking at this year, you're looking over the past 5 or 6 years and to do comparisons. But one of the main issues will be to see when and if the state passes a budget so we know what kind of funding is going to plug in to those numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sieber.
Well, that's nice to know. Contrary to popular belief, nobody on this stage wants to raise taxes. Nobody thinks that county government or government on any level is there just to raise your taxes. I pay taxes too. I'm sure the gentleman on each side of me and all of you out there pay taxes. Nobody's out there just to raise taxes for something to do. What Mr. Thomas and Mr. O'Corn said is very correct in that hopefully with proper budgetary practices, with seeking out grants, a tax increase will not be necessary. Having looked at the budget for the last 2 days, what time I have in the evenings, I see that that is probably true. Unfortunately, one cannot always see what is around the corner. For us right now, for the county government right now, as the last commissioners meeting showed, we have to deal with a state budget impasse, which, as Mr. Thomas pointed out, that is 30% of our funding. I'm sure each and every school district is now facing the same thing that the county is facing, which is the necessity of arranging short-term loans to cover the things that are absolutely necessary. In pointing out that there may very well be a decrease in children and youth services funding, I think it's also important to remember that the state, while cutting back your funding, also maintains certain mandates that you have to meet. And they expect the county to do what is necessary to meet that mandate. Sometimes you do what you have to do, whether you like it or not. And that's the way I'm sure it's going to be with countywide taxes. You may not want it, but you do what you have to do. Thank you.
Thank you. 1 minute rebuttal, Commissioner O'Corn.
Thank you, David. The one thing that I've tried to make sure that I look at in every situation is that we're not being penny wise and dollar foolish whenever we're looking at issues. And we haven't. During the last 4 years, we've had much success keeping within our budget, but also getting things done. Experience here is important because it takes time to learn the budget and all the nuances of it and how the different departments affect each other. My experience through the last 4 years and also my experience in the financial arena is a big benefit to the county. It has been for 4 years, and I hope that by writing me in, that will continue. We talked about crime a little bit, and we're trying to be smarter on crime and not softer on crime because that's important. It costs money. We're trying to get people the help that they need so that they don't come back time and time again. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas.
Of course, nobody wants to see a tax increase. All I can say is at this point in time, I'll be financially responsible with the county's money. Well, on October 2nd, we got our third quarter report, and the good news is the county was running right where it should be, 74.8% of the budget. Having said that, as of July 1st of this year, also a lot of state and federal funding stopped coming in because of the budget impasse, which we are down on revenue. So, like I said, we can and will prepare a budget and have it ready before December 31st. Without the state budget, it's going to be extremely difficult. Not impossible, but difficult to fill in the numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sieber.
I think that pretty much says it. We're all in favor of not raising taxes. We're all in favor of getting the job done first. And we're going to get ourselves a budget. I don't think there's much more to say about that. Again, and Mr. O'Corn made a good point there, you do have to be extremely careful when you are trying to cut things too fine. For example, if you were sharpening a stick to stick in the ground, if you try to make the point too narrow, it's not going to work. And I can see the same thing is true of government agencies. If you try to cut things to the narrowest point, you may not allow them to do their jobs properly. So it's a kind of a tightrope that whoever the county commissioners are going to have to walk. Thank you.
Thank you. For our next question, the answers will be given by Commissioner O'Corn first, Mr. Sieber second, and Mr. Thomas third. The question, which I believe came from the audience, is, as a way to reduce the number of individuals housed in the county jail, do you support the decriminalization of marijuana or other programs to reduce the number of county residents who are currently incarcerated? Commissioner O'Corn.
Could you repeat that, Dave? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. That was a long one.
It was. As a way to reduce the number of individuals housed in the county jail, do you support the decriminalization of marijuana or other programs to reduce the number of county residents who are currently incarcerated?
I do not support the legalization of marijuana. I have seen what it does to young people and also how it can be used as a gateway drug. That's from personal experience. That's my view. As a county commissioner, that does not affect the job that we do. However, we will have programs for these people because if they are arrested and enter our system, we want to get them the help that they deserve, so that they don't keep coming back and back time and time again, and having a drain on our system financially. And not only that, the effect that it has on their lives and the lives of people around them. So people need to understand what effect doing drugs has, not just on the person that's taking the drugs, but also those affected, mainly family and friends. So we're hoping that the intermediate punishment things that we're putting into place will have an effect on that, so that we don't have people coming back time after time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sieber.
The, excuse me, the decriminalization of marijuana, those type of laws are going to be decided at the state level. As far as myself personally, for nonviolent first-time offenders, I think we sometimes over-criminalize it. When I was growing up as a young man in the 60s and the 70s, I saw people go to jail for extensive periods of time for very minor incidents. It's a difficult question, and it's actually a multi-fold question, because if you talk about marijuana, or any drug for that matter, you also have to look at how does it affect not just the county, but the whole of society. If we have, for example, I know we probably have, and we have a number of people in the state legislature who support the legalization of medical marijuana, as do I. As far as the decriminalization of marijuana for nonviolent first-time offenders, so do I. I think it would help our prison systems, not just the county jail, but prison system in every entity of the state, if that were the case. We also have the intermediate punishments. We have the ankle bracelet program. These are better than the lockup. And that's what I have to say on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas.
As we all know, this is not a topic that will be decided at the county level, but I was asked my view on it. Yes, I am for medical marijuana if it's a proven fact that it can help the individuals suffering and ease their pain, or whatever purposes that it can help with by the medical community. I do not have enough information to say to legalize it on a broad base at this time. As far as keeping and lowering our crime rates in the jail, we just started the intermediate punishment unit this year with our new probation director with a grant through PCCD. We were only one or three of 67 counties that did not have an intermediate punishment program. This should help reduce the jail population. Also, we are looking into day reporting centers to see what kind of effect that they would have on the population. And also, which I'm sure will be coming up at some time, is the jail review, which we're evaluating our whole judicial system to see what's needed and to best serve these individuals. And that is one thing right now that Huntingdon County is slowly moving forward to, but you're actually, I hate to say this, you're actually better off if you're coming into our jail with drugs to be at a state prison or elsewhere, because we don't supply a lot of the services that these individuals need to get better. And we need to have those services in place in our county to help with the repeat offenders. Thank you.
Thank you. Your 1 minute rebuttal, Commissioner O'Corn.
I'll just say once again, although I'm not in favor of it, we certainly have a responsibility to the citizens to get them the help that they want or need, so that we can move their lives forward, and so that they're not a drain on the county. It is an important issue, and it's one that we face daily, and it's becoming more so as other drugs enter our area. This is one of the challenges we face, and we need everybody to work together on this. And thank you for doing so, and we hope that the intermediate punishment efforts that we're making will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sieber, your 1 minute rebuttal.
Well, I am glad to recognize the fact that we have a jail system where we do not have the means to rehabilitate. And it's great if we can provide the type of services for that first, second, third time offender. I know we have that for people who are convicted of drunk driving. I know that we have it for other people who wind up in the county jail system. But remember, if you want these things, services cost money. So if you want things, you must be willing to pay for them. The decriminalization, which is not the same as legalization, is, like I said, a very, very difficult question. It's one that's going to have to be handled at the state level. It would provide a break for our prison systems throughout the state.
Thank you, Mr. Seaver. Commissioner Thomas.
I just want to point out with services brought into the county for these individuals, it is a proven fact. I attend many seminars on these issues because our county jail population is a huge concern to all the taxpayers of Huntingdon County. But when there's programs in place, it's a proven fact throughout the state and nation that you can cut repeat offenders down 30 to 40%. And if we can help those, give them the tools to become productive citizens again, where we're not supporting them, they're supporting all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. We actually are going to have, this will be our last question of the evening before we allow you to move into your closing statements. And this is another infrastructure question regarding infrastructure in Huntingdon County. For the order of answer in this question, it will be Commissioner O'Corn, followed by Mr. Seaver, followed by Commissioner Thomas. So the question is, and I believe it came from the audience or online, is what are your transportation, meaning roads, bridges, what are your priorities for Huntingdon County? What are the number one projects that you feel need to be addressed in the county? And we'll start with Commissioner O'Corn.
From a safety issue, I think our bridges, as you've probably heard in other parts of the state and also other parts of the country, are a priority. We are very fortunate with the 20 bridges that we as a county administer. They are in good shape. We do have several with issues, but they are on schedule to be addressed, and we're in a good place there. And we'll also work with the municipalities to address any concerns they have and give them the support that they need. Since coming into office, I have worked on improvements to Route 22. We are in Corridor M of the Appalachian Road Commission, and it's really the missing link if you travel Route 22. That is one of the last areas that is not 4-lane, and it certainly has been a challenge to the industry in Huntingdon County. Since taking office, I have worked with our legislators to hopefully keep money and also get new money coming to our area. At this point, that has failed, but that does not mean that we don't continue to work on it. The improvements that have been made are of a safety nature, and you've seen with Route 22, recent repaving and adjustments to the lanes. That has something that we've been a part of. And we sponsored everything publicly so that everybody would be aware of the issues that we're facing and what we're trying to do about it. So transportation is a huge challenge, one that we're trying to bite off one at a time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Seaver.
I do understand that the complication with any of the major road work here in the county, much of it has to do with the state. For example, Route 22, as you said, it's the missing link, and it has been the missing link since I don't know how long. I've only lived up here for 40-some years. And it's still the missing link. Now, one of the candidates, not on the stage here today, said early in the campaign that because we have our really great legislators at the state and federal level, that he would get them to work for us. Now, I personally thought that was their job in the first place. But I don't know if that can be done because it's been 40 years. Here we are, and it's an incredibly dangerous highway. We read about it and drive it every day. We live with it every day. And sometimes we don't live with it, as we just had here a few weeks ago. So, yeah, it's great that we're on the state list, but it's not great that we're the missing link. If I thought that someone could get our state and federal legislators to work in our favor, I'd vote for them. But I don't think it can be done because they don't seem to have much interest in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Thomas.
Could you repeat the question, Mr. Christopher?
Yes, I can. So what are your transportation, meaning roads and bridges, with the priorities for Huntingdon County as you see them?
Some of the main priority for Huntingdon County is Route 22 to become a 4-lane. That is what everybody in economic development and the commissioners would like to see. Now we're going to come back to reality because of the funding that's out there. With the Route 22 study, many safety features have been made to Route 22, and you can't argue with that. Water Street to River Road, which I argue with PennDOT forever. Don't call it the Water Street project, call it the River Road project, so they would quit getting the questions on that. So there's been many safety improvements. 829 is coming up for a red light. We're trying to get 453 designated as on the national highway system. If we're able to do that, that will secure more money for Route 453, so that will be a link from Water Street up. I sat on the Rural Transportation Coordinating Committee, I believe I mentioned that before, which is for our rural planning organization, which encompasses Somerset, Bedford, Huntingdon, and Fulton County. So this is where we see, along with our planning partners, we put together the packages to see for our 20-year long-term plan. You just seen come across the commissioner's desk not long ago. It's where we review the tips, move projects up and down to the needs and safety concerns of the county. The state did a fabulous job, believe it or not, on Act 89, getting the funding into us. But now we need the feds to step up to the plate and do the same thing, because without them supplying the additional funding, these roads will never be completed. Thank you.
Thank you. Your 1 minute rebuttal, Commissioner O'Corn.
We've been very fortunate here recently to be named as part of the 9/11 National Trail. That's very important, and we're hoping that by having that designation, we continue to make efforts so that people do recognize Huntingdon County as being part of the transportation that Pennsylvania needs, and to get us out of that missing link category. I've also started to work with PennDOT to work so that we can add bike lanes to some of our roadways, because we have a fair number of people that are using transportation other than cars, whether it's for recreation or to get around town. And also, in addition to roads and bridges, we also have the information highway. And that's something that if we have these infrastructure issues and challenges, that's something we can improve and provide for the betterment of businesses in Huntingdon County. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Siebert?
Just kind of like to mention, I do know a number of people who operate home businesses using the internet, using the information highway. My son happens to be one of them as a part-time individual. In addition to that, of course, we have our rail traffic. Of course, any change there has to come through the rail system. We're not going to get an extra stop unless we push and push and push. The same with funding. We need to push hard, as I know these gentlemen have. I know they have done this. I do believe that when it comes to the infrastructure here in this part of Pennsylvania, we are lagging behind, and it is one of the things that is holding back our growth as an economic area as well. I noticed that we had in the paper, I think someone was interested in a resort hotel up near the Raystown. That's going to require more infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sieber. Commissioner Thomas.
Bob, you hit on a couple good points about the roads. It's going to take a lot of money to get Route 22 to where we would like to see it. But having said that, we have seen noticeable improvements in our roads with the guide rails and the paving systems and the safety improvements. And if we can get 453 onto the national highway system and get that fixed up, that would be a link right up. The other place not to forget about is 522 south from Mount Union, where our business park's at. 522 was upgraded some years ago, and there's just a small section in Fulton County that needs to be upgraded or updated for better truck traffic. So if we could get that accomplished working within our RPO, that would be a huge success going down to the turnpike. We have been working about expanding telecommunications in the county with our partners, and I want to touch on the rail. We have signed resolutions as a county, our partner organization, Southern Alleghenies, to try to get more than one stop coming into Huntingdon. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now have the candidates actually go through their closing statements. The order of closing statements will be Mr. Sieber first, followed by Commissioner Thomas, followed by Commissioner O'Corn. You'll each have 2 minutes for your closing statements, beginning once again with Mr. Sieber.
First of all, it's been a privilege to be up here on stage with these two gentlemen. While we may be running in a race for offices in a way against each other and sometimes with each other, I will say that both these gentlemen have been real gentlemen about virtually everything that has occurred. In closing, one of the things that I like to mention as far as myself, what I might bring as a county commissioner, is the fact that while I may lack the experience, I do have the ability to learn and learn quickly. As a teacher for those many years, that's what you did. And anybody who has ever been in a classroom knows that you consume vast amounts of information. And you have to be creative. You have to sometimes think outside the box. You have to do things that other people it may not occur to them, or it may be against some of their principles. While it may be helping someone excuse me, that's the wrong way to put it. It may be that it is necessary to bring up ideas that people do not want to hear. I know from talking to people outside the area that part of our negative image in the past was a direct result of last year's 81st district election, of the things that appeared in the newspaper and online. And that's an image that I think we should try to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sieber. Commissioner Thomas.
I have a deep vested interest in Huntingdon County. My great-grandparents, my grandparents, my parents live here. I live here, my children live here, and my grandchildren live here. There's been a long history in my family with Huntingdon County. I want to make it a better place to live, work, and visit. I will work diligently to accomplish this, and that's one of the things that I have done since I've been in office. I don't think anybody can say that I haven't put my full-time devotion and attention into this job. I will always be fiscally responsible. I'll work for the things that we discussed tonight: job development, workforce development, economic growth. All those things are very important to Huntingdon County. And there's a smart way to go about that. You need to go about and take advantage of the programs and grants that are out there. It's been a real honor and privilege serving the last 4 years. I hope to be able to continue to serve 4 more. Re-elected, I'll serve you in an efficient, courtesy, and professional manner that all the residents in Huntingdon County deserve. And I'd like to end with working together. We can move Huntingdon County forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Cord.
I just want to say thank you again to everybody involved in putting the debate together. You know, with the technology that we have, I think first time in Huntingdon County that we've been able to do a debate this way, and I'm proud to be a part of that. It's been an honor to share the stage with these gentlemen this evening. I think you've heard the issues. You've gotten an understanding of where we stand on issues. I regret that other candidates decided not to participate in the event this evening. I think they missed an opportunity to work with the public, and I think that's important to show that the public, working with the public is very important. I've done that. Almost every issue that we've dealt with, we included public meetings so that people would understand what we were going through and options that we were looking at so that we could make decisions that were best for the residents of Huntingdon County. I believe that my leadership, my education, and my experience will continue to move Huntingdon County forward. I have proven that I can work with other commissioners to get things done. I promise to be fiscally responsible, and I feel that I have during the last 4 years. Operating a write-in campaign is a challenge, so I need your support. If you agree with my stances on the issues, my passion for Huntingdon County, please consider me for one of your 2 votes in writing me in for County Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to invite our MC for the evening back up here to close. I think I saw him coming this way.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher, and thank you to all of the candidates who came and participated in this evening's debate. Following the debate, the candidates will be at their tables in the lobby. Please stop by to meet them personally. One more time, I would like to thank all of our partner agencies who did so much to help make this possible. That's the Juniata Valley School District, and especially the tireless efforts of Mr. Christopher, the Tuscarora Intermediate Unit 11, the Huntingdon County Chamber of Commerce, the Huntingdon County Business and Industry, and our media partners, the Daily News, Seven Mountains Media and Honey 103.5, WTAJ. Finally, the Pennsylvania Association of Nonprofits. Thank you to all of you for helping us to make this possible this evening. We wish you all a wonderful evening. Please don't forget to vote on November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I guess appreciated that.